Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Legion Lads. I am your host, JR. Today we got Jose and Nick. What's up, guys?
Yo.
Nothing much.
So, today we've been going over our series of ranking the different ranks. And so far, I've been right about all of them, and you guys have been wrong. So, you guys do better, do better, do better. But before we get, today we're actually going to go over the operative ranks. Before we get that, few announcements. June 22nd this month is our local Legion Lads tournament held at Legends Comics in Clovis. That should be starting at 10, 9. I think you show up at 9, register and all that.
Yeah.
Tournament starts at 10. So if you guys can make that, that'd be awesome. That's at the end of the month. And then, like a week or two later, Vet Fest is happening, which is July 12th. That one is an LVOIS. So if you don't have your LVO Invitational, you can come and try to snag that away from us. Um, we want to try to get as many people as we can. We're trying to get 32 people so we can make this a GT next year. It's a great convention. It's free. All you got to do is pay for the conventional badge, which is $25. And you get to play, hang out, see all the awesome games that the people are bringing. And so, yeah, please come to that. I'm going to beat your head over with it until we get 32 players or until next year happens. But anyways, any announcements from the rest of the lads?
No, I think that covers it.
Come to Vet Fest. Yeah, and not even just for Legion. Like, yes, come for Legion, but Nick's also hosting a Marvel Crisis Protocol tournament. I believe they're doing Shatterpoint on Friday. And even if you're not into any of those game modes, I mean, you can still come hang out and just bring whatever and hang out.
Is it a Shatterpoint tournament or is it just Shatterpoint play games?
It's just play Shatterpoint. Yeah, not a tournament, just kind of a free play. Yeah.
Free play. Any promos given out or just free play?
I believe yes. I
Ooh,
believe yes. Yeah.
okay. Cool, cool, cool. Um,
I'm
Go
I'm
ahead.
planning on being there. Like I normally just do Saturdays, because my daughter's birthday party is normally on the Sunday, but I'm gonna go for Friday as well. I might not play Shatterpoint, but I'm definitely gonna be there hanging out, and I'm probably gonna take some like I'll probably be down for Legion pickup games or like some Star Wars Unlimited if anybody wants to go try me.
If you bring your Shatterpoint stuff, I'll play you. Nick schooled my
I'm
butt at your party, so I need some more practice games in.
I got to play
nice.
Hondo Naka.
And then had this one guy. Who was that other guy that just did nothing the whole game?
Gorm.
Gorm. And I still lost. I was like, God dang
He beat you a mini
it.
down.
It was a fun game, though. Fun game. All right, boys. Let me go ahead and just jump right into this because we got a lot of operatives to cover, and that's gonna take us a bit. Hopefully, not too long. Okay. All right. Can you guys boys see it?
Yep.
Oh, that's not too many.
What? I think this is the longest one we've
Yeah,
done so
it's a
far.
lot.
Most
It took when I was last on here, it took us forever to get through the heavies, and there's like half the number.
Yeah, but that was more critical. Most of these douchebags are gonna end up in C and lower.
We'll see. I'm sure we got some hot takes on it, but kicking us off, we got Shadow Collective Mall. I guess I'll go first on this one. It's my baby, my boy. Uh, I feel like this has to be an A tier, and I'm very biased on that because I feel like all Force users have to be A tier just for the fact that you could take Force Push. Now, that gets a little bit pricey in other factions, but the ability to force someone off a POI is huge considering that you count as a unit for the POI and force pushing. So essentially you count for two people on a POI, right? Um, and you want to be close. Force users are great being close. This is a dark side user, so you can use force choke, which is really good for the POI because you can choke a unit leader if that's all that's left. Granted, force users did suffer because the POIs are spread out, so you got to zone some areas. So they did suffer in that way. That's why I think probably only one force user S tier. But that's my take. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, to that point, I don't think not all Force users are going to be ranked super high because they don't dominate the game like they used to anymore. But they are still good, of course. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, and I agree. I agree with the A tier with this just because the three actions is still good.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Jose?
I don't like the faction that he's in, because it's all expensive. I was gonna put him more towards B, because in like CIS you can alleviate the pressure of him not being by himself because you could do Asajj, you could do Dooku, you have other things you can facilitate, but in Shadow Collective things are just so expensive and it doesn't feel like they thought it out much with him because I don't care how cheap you make him. You want to take him as your leader. You're stuck with a dark saber, and then your Mandalorians are still stupid expensive. Rick Cass is overpriced, and she's like retinue him, so that's stupid. So, this version of Maul for me is a B, but I could see why you guys would have him in A.
I agree with you that you want to make him your commander, but I feel like it's only right you put him in here because he's technically an operative. You don't have to take him as a commander. I don't know. Should I make him a commander in our rank for commanders?
You can but with
You
that
can.
at that price point taking the dark saber.
That's true. That's true. All right, moving on. We got Boba Fett. This is the. You know what? I don't think I added Old Man Boba Fett on here.
Yeah, because it's this at the Empire one, right?
Yeah, this is the Empire one. So I guess we'll handle him both Empire and then also the Old Man Boba one. So for the Empire, what would you rank him, Jose?
I think he's solid B. He still has a lot of things he can do. His new buddy Callus enables double bounty without having to use the 8-point upgrade allies of convenience. And I mean, Boba's always been good. His problem is just like every other Mando's problem. Like your saves are ass when they don't need to be. So other than that, I mean, you're not missing nothing. He lost his flamethrower, but were you really using double flamethrower in the amount of cards that you needed? Like you weren't taking it. He's
Mhm.
still fast. He's still got Mando saves. He can still get where he needs to go. Um, he can still kill things. So, I mean, Ripcord is still good. So, I'd put him at B.
Okay. What about you, Nick?
I don't know what he's talking about. This guy's ugh, it's terrible.
Terrible. Tell us why.
I don't think he does anything. He doesn't do anything in the new Legion. And again, I kind of point to this. Am I wrong? Who's playing him? Do you ever see anyone playing Empire Boba? He doesn't. He's not. He does not do anything in this game. He doesn't throw any dice. His command cards are worthless. I mean, he's got one good command card. Um, he's. I'd be generous to say he's C. I almost want to say he's D.
Ooh. Well, which
Oh
you gotta
no.
decide on one.
Well, I'll say D then.
D.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh man, you made this really hard on me then, because I kind of agree with Jose on this, because I'm looking at him right now. He surges to crit, surges to defend. In range two, he's shooting five blacks, sharpshooter two. Like that's a decent pool with the Pierce one. Um,
And he's 130, 130 points.
but I mean that's still good because I mean we'll get to Sabine
And
here later.
he's an Empire.
Sure,
That's the other
but
thing too. Look at the faction he's in.
that's
It's the
true
only
too.
faction you could take him in.
But being in range five two, shooting five, you don't think that's something? At least five dice.
So then why does no one take him? And literally no one. When
I
was the
think
last time you saw anyone take a Boba Fett?
so. In my opinion, I think a lot of people don't take mercenaries because the mercenary rule is kind of dumb. Like it's not fun, right?
Yep.
It can't
Okay.
give it an order, right? I guess you can. No, you can't give it an
No,
order.
you can't.
Can't.
Yeah. So
So I mean that affects his ranking.
sure, sure. And then for that reason, I'll put him in C
Okay,
because
I'll give you C.
but so one of us has got to compromise.
Well, me and you are
No,
C.
you.
Okay,
We're both
you're
C.
coming. Okay, okay.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
give you
just
I'll give you C because I'm saying D, so I'll give you C.
yeah. I feel like that's the gonna be the rule with the most mercenaries is because of the stupid mercenary rules. That's why I don't see people playing it, and the bounty keyword isn't as strong as it used to be. Um, moving on, we're gonna go ahead and cover Old Man Boba. I don't have his picture, so we'll just clarify where he's at. Jose, what do you think? Oh no, I picked on you last time. Nick, what do you think Old Man Boba should go with?
Yeah, he has the same problem as Empire Boba. He has Arsenal 2 that he can't even use. It's it's
Yeah.
the most it's the dumbest keyword. It is so dumb. He can't even use it without playing one of his command cards. And they even took one of his command cards away. Why does he have Arsenal 2 on his card that he can't even use?
Yeah.
That just is so dumb. Yeah, he's not good either in this game now. Um, I'm again generous to say he's C.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on C. I like the independent standby. However, he doesn't shoot. He can only shoot three black,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like again, just like Nick had said, you don't get our Arsenal 2 really unless you play command cards, and he can only be played in Rebels, and they want to take a lot of command cards. So that's
Hmm.
why you never see him, in my opinion. What about you, Jose?
F.
F,
Yeah.
really?
A two-speed Mando that has Arsenal 2, not a built-in secondary weapon. Like F. This is he's the only. Look, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the only Speed 2 Mando in the game.
Yeah. Believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
No,
get
that's
like,
not true. That's not true. Den's B2.
well, no, you put the jetpack on,
You
me
put the
speed 3.
jetpack. You
Well,
always take Din with the
I
jetpack.
mean, assuming you didn't take the jetpack, right?
But
No,
you
but you
both,
always
but
take the
you always
jetpack.
take jetpack.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he doesn't have an option for a jetpack.
Boba is jump with he's jump speed too. He is. So
Yeah, no,
so
F.
I was being generous saying C, so I'm happy to put him in D.
Okay, well then Jose, are you gonna compromise with D?
Yeah, go for D. The
All right.
other yeah, no, when Nick
So
was
D.
like when Nick was like other Boba should be in D, I'm like, no, because Rebel Boba's way worse.
They're both bad.
And
Yeah.
because of Bad Batch, you're never taking that chump. So I'm sorry. F.
It's going so fast for these guys.
Oh, hey, you want it
It
short and simple? It's as short and simple as it
well,
gets.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, bounty hunters just suffer a tremendous lot. I'm really curious where you're gonna put Cad Bane. So I'll go first on Cad. I think Cad's still a B, and the
I'm
reason why. Go ahead.
curious. Have you played Cat in
What are you
2.6?
smoking?
So
I'm just curious.
correct.
I'm just
You
curious.
you are correct, Nick. I have not played him in
Okay.
2.6,
Okay.
but I feel like the reason why we haven't seen him 2.6, and let me be clear here. You only play CAD in CIS because CIS can do full order control.
Hmm.
I think that's where his strength is in that faction. Shadow Collective, he suffers more because of that. And I feel like placing him around the board is still relatively good, right? Because you could put him behind a line of sight blocker, especially with the new area terrain rules. Um, but he's got shenanigans. I haven't played him in 2.6 though, so I'm only going off the stats. I do want to put him on the field eventually, but I still think he's pretty strong for a B tier. Steady's no joke, sharpshooter's no joke, and he surge to crit. That's pretty good. And independent dodge too. Danger sense 3, like he's got a high survivability. All right, Jose, tell me why I'm wrong.
F.
Oh, oh my God.
F.
Okay, tell me why.
The once again, so short and simple. Dodges in this game, unless you're a red safe faction, matter absolutely almost nil because of the amount of dice. Give Cad Bane two dodges, that's fine. Your shenanigans, I'm gonna throw super squad on your bomb, blow me up. Cool, I'm still gonna blow you up. Uh, he can't survive even with uncanny luck, even with steady, even he's not Han, he's not surrounded by a bunch of stuff that can like grab you, divert your attention, pull you here and there. He lost the access to being able to throw his order away, which was the not comms jammer, it was what was the old upgrade where you give him an order and you get to
Com
throw it
relay.
away?
Com relay.
Yeah, he has no access to comms relay, which means he's on any of his command cards, he's pretty much stuck with his order. So there goes your independent dodge. So say if you took three of his command cards, for three out of the five turns, you're not even proccing independent because of lack of comms relay. On top of that, because you can't, because of that, the reverse order control would only work in CIS if you took none of his command cards. Um, because of the amount of dice being thrown, because of the old cover two, it benefited him greatly because it was two off the top, one off the top, two dodges. Now you're looking at two to three off the top in general. You know, all your other stuff thrown in there. Um, I could see Cad Bane Old Legion getting like 6, 7 suppression, you know, and then boom, exploding it. You're not doing that in this league, and Cad's getting two shot at most. Um, the bomb with the big squads is not scary anymore. Cad's not scary anymore. You know, Cad taking shots at two small squads. You know, that was actually really scary. Nah, dude, there's nothing about him that's even minorly enticing. And then even listening to the tournaments that have rolled out where people have tried to take him or even seen heard stories about them playing them, like he's just a wet napkin that's just a waste of space for what is he? He's like one.
105. He's actually one of the cheaper bounty hunters on here.
Yeah, so for 105, for 105, you could just take Bosk and be way better off.
All right. I do want to know, and I think this caught me off guard, so maybe I just haven't played him in Empire. Was he always be able to be taken in Empire when they switched to mercenaries?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I just never played him in Empire. Okay. All
yeah,
right, Nick, what you got?
yeah. Yeah, he's not good. I've actually played him in 2.6.
You have. You have.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he just dies. His bomb does nothing. The way his order token now works in the pool, you can't let him his token be flipped. So you have to bring him out. So it's not like he can surprise anybody anymore. Um, yeah, his danger sense doesn't it's not enough to save him. He doesn't it's just yeah, it's you just can't do it. It's just not very impactful. He is cheap though, so I get at least I give him that. He's not taking up a lot of points. So I guess I would at least put him in at least put him in C. If
See,
if if Empire Boba is in C, then Cad Bane's in C.
I think he's ahead of the Empire one.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not gonna put him in a lower tier than Empire Boba.
I feel like I need to bring him to a tournament. That's gonna be my next challenge in the next tournament. Maybe not VetFest or LVO, but next tournament.
A fun tournament where he might live.
Right. All right, moving on. We got IG88. Nick, how do you feel about IG88?
Yeah, you don't see him a lot either. Um,
Okay,
I
to be fair though, I feel like a lot of these operatives we're not seeing is because there's better options and like the metas
sure,
doesn't favor
but
them right now.
but that says their effectiveness, right? I mean,
Sure, sure.
if you and it's not and it's about that you it's not even about that you see them sometimes, you never see them. Like they're never taken, like 0%, you know? So that says something. I think what also hurts him is again he's another mercenary that's only Empire, right?
Yeah.
He's one
Yep.
faction. Um, he's he's definitely, kind of a one trick pony. He's better than the other IG when we get to that one. Um, I've never played him, so I will say that. So I don't have a lot of experience with him, so I can't say if I've played him before. But just based off of his stats, I guess he's probably a C.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I haven't played him in 2.5 either or 2.6. He's got mediocre stats, and I feel like
2.6, you mean Legion?
yeah, Legion
It's Legion
2.6.
now. No, they got rid of
Oh,
that.
oh
It's
yeah,
Legion
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, right, air quotes.
These are the same picture.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with a lot of things Nick said. What do you think, Jose?
I'll put him in C. I've faced a lot of IG88s. I faced a lot of
In 2.6?
In
11s.
2.6?
Not 2.6, but
Okay.
I would assume. Hold
We
on,
talked
hold
about we
on.
talked about this at the beginning. No,
Yes,
no.
but here one thing is true that you're still gonna get butchered and abused by armor piercing shots. So don't matter if it's 2.6, 3.0, 4.8, my Cody's still gonna fucking two shot it. So
I don't know about
Language.
two-shotting it,
Language.
but do we
I've
think it's
done it
bet?
multiple times.
Did you do it against my IG88?
You
Okay
played
then. Okay.
IG88?
I think I played
When
him
did you
once,
play?
one
No, you
one
haven't.
time or something. I have him. I have the samurai one. Yeah, see that?
So you don't own
Mm.
it. It's you
Again,
can't play it.
again, none of
But
this talk is relevant.
I'll
Where
put
do
him
we
in C.
where do you want to put him in C? What do
You
you
can
think
put
he's
him at
better?
the end. You can put him at the end.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
I just feel
I
bad
think
picking
he's
this.
better than Empire Boba.
That's debatable.
No,
That's
I'd
debatable.
put him behind Empire Boba.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. IG-11.
F.
F.
Just put him
Really?
F. Just
Really?
F.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
F.
Just put him
Okay.
F.
All right. All right.
They
Yeah.
destroyed his command card.
Yeah. Well, so he was F even before that. You had to take a command card. That is terrible. His explosion is even worse. It hands out suppression. Who cares? Now contingency is gone, so you have to take that command card, and you can't even contingency it away.
Mhm.
He throws terrible dice. Yeah, he F.
I
There's absolutely
mean,
no reason to
Wait,
take him.
wait. I did play new IG. Sorry, IG-88 and New Legion when I abused Michaels. So it was IG-11, right? Was it 11? 11 goes in Rebels, right?
Levins and Rebels.
Yeah. So I butchered Rebels IG.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
there
yeah.
F.
is something to say about his bounty program. I think that's one of the better programs we see in the game.
It's not worth it with him. It's not
You
worth
get
it.
him?
He's terrible.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I have not a
Uh,
lot of experience with IG-11 to have a valid opinion on this matter.
Michael, get in the comments and tell us why we're wrong.
Moving on, the very own Din
Dejar,
Jar.
Just say
Dejarn,
the Mandalorian. Just say
All right.
Mando.
Dejarn.
Din Djarin. There you go. Isn't the D silent though?
No, I don't think so. Din
No,
Djarin.
What makes
it's
Django's D silent?
Django.
I, I mean, why? Why is it silent?
Because he says it is.
Okay. All right, Nick. How do you feel about your baby?
Mando's been good. He's. I still wish he threw a little more dice, but that's just probably just me being a little, wanting more. Um, Grogu should be cheaper. There's no reason that Grogu should be 17 points still. But I would say Mando with Rebels. So I guess I'm talking really more with Rebels. In my case, he's probably. mm, I would say he's A.
Okay. All right, Jose.
Well, not New Legion, but Old Legion. I played Mando in both Rebels and Empire, and I'm the only maniac that likes Whistling Birds, and everybody says it's terrible, but every time I use Whistling Birds, I murder minis. But no, I like Mando. Everything about him's good. His independence cool. Grogu on the Rebel side's cool. Even being Grogu-less on the Empire side's not too bad. Um, I mean. I like the Ambam. I like the spear. He has tactical. He has his independent. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's just superstition, but when I play with Mando, like I feel like I don't roll blanks when it comes to defense. So maybe that's something that's just in my head and it makes me roll dice better. But no, I like it. My only gripe with the operatives that we've gone through so far, besides Maul, is get rid of the goddamn mercenary keyword. Like it's so. I feel like the mercenary keyword on bounty hunters is gonna get the flaw card treatment sometime in the future. Like it's not relevant to anything. Just let them slot it into those factions. Because here's the thing: if you took mercenary off of IG-88, you took mercenary off of IG-11, you took mercenary off of CAD and everybody else, they're probably still not gonna see the table. Mercenary's not doing anything but making you pay an extra 8 points to take something that you should just slot in anyways. But regardless, that save that rant for a different day. Yeah, I agree with Nick. Mando good.
Okay. Yeah, I like his independent aim and dodge, so he gets an aim and a dodge when you don't order him. I'm a big fan of the Beskar spear, but I understand why people take the Ambite rifle to keep him locked in. Um, he has impervious. Yeah, we seem solid, so we'll put him in A. All right, we got Bosk. I think I've only played Bosk one time in the new 2.6. I feel like he's mediocre because he's got a good range 4 gun. That's when he has aims. It really suffers when he doesn't have aims, and he wants to be shooting when this game wants you to be really in range two, and I think that's where he suffers. Granted, he could get charged and he has a really good melee attack, but he has to bleed for that, and that's not really good. And of course, the mercenary keyword. I want to put him a C. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I could go with C. I could see that with Bosk. Yeah, his he's not really built for this game. Sure, he could sit on a back POI, right, and shoot.
Mhm.
But is that really what you want to spend your operative slot on? And probably not. So yeah,
Yep.
I could see C.
What about you, Jose?
I'm a B guy. I like his utility. He's not just shooting for one suppression, he's shooting for two. So if he goes last and panic is checked all the time, and boop, there's a panic unit off the point. Him being a backline capper is not bad. You got to invest a lot to go get him, and like you can turn one. Was it which is one? Merciless munitions or whatever. His aim card. You can
I
get it to where you could give him an order, let him go last, stack up all those aims, and then come out. And then if your opponent's dumb enough, you can knock something right out the gate. Like I said, it's suppressive at range four. I mean, back to back suppressive shots. I mean, knocking one thing. Like being an opponent. Like if I'm playing against Bosk, I try to make sure I have one more thing on a POI because if he's gonna suppress me and knock something panic off of it, at least I can keep that point. If he doesn't kill it, well, actually, even if he kills it, but if he does manage to panic it, I can still keep it contested where nobody gets points. Versus if me and you are at four parity, he panicked something, now you get to score that objective. So you have to take in consideration that he can make some tricky pick plays, and for me, it comes down to like you got to be a smart player to handle him because I prefer to put him in B, but. You guys got it at C?
Yeah, I just feel like he really suffers with mobility, right? He wants to be shooting always, so he has to sacrifice an action. So theoretically, he has to be moving and shooting when he really wants
Just put him
aims.
where you need him.
Yeah, but you got to get to the POI first, right?
Yeah, but once you're there, you got four turns of chilling. Like I've seen it done. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
don't think you get to a POI on turn one.
If you're
So
scouted up,
I mean, sure you can give him scout one, but I don't even think scout one will get you there, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
then you're really close
It
to
depends on what you're playing. Like you can, and even then, if you want to put him there, waste your turn one to get there. Like I said, I mean, if it's something like, granted, things have to go your way, but if it's something static, like research or something static, like like the intercept one, not intercept, the comms, the 3 points where you fight over, I forget what it's called. But like research is good because research you just have to contest it. Well, cool. Boss is gonna make one panic, and then you're just gonna get one over on that right side. So you can't leave Boss there at that bottom right research uncontested, taking free shots, making you score on that triangle. Like there's ways he can. There's certain objectives that work with him well, and even in certain objectives where you can drop, like what the scanners. If you're panic, you drop it, or the one of them you drop. But there's a lot of utility to him, and it's not so much just he has to move there, but there's certain game modes where you sit him on that back point. If he did, like if it's the one that's the one where they're moving, yeah, he's gonna suck on that because he has to run. But if you give him like I said, research, you give him close the pocket, stuff where he can sit safely and just pin you down because the close the pocket, the center one's worth what, two or three when you win it. Okay, cool. We're at parity. I panic you, and now I get two.
I don't think
And
he's not panicking things that easily though. There's a lot of suppressive weapons out there. I mean, just because he's suppressive does not mean he's gonna panic
what other
you.
suppressive weapons are being taken besides Verticas?
Dead troopers, Dooku,
Mm,
E-webs,
and
I don't
like
know.
mortars.
a lot of things in this game that are now Courage 2. Granted, Empire is the only one, in my opinion, that are suffering from the Courage 2 bubbles. But yeah, a lot of
I'm
things are
just saying
Courage 2.
you can't count out a range four suppressive unit. And the difference between the E-webs and and Bosk is you have to refresh that generator for suppressive. Bosk just always has it on. And even same thing with Death Troopers. You're talking about Mason in action. So I am refreshing my suppressive gun and shooting the suppressive gun. Bosk is aiming and shooting his suppressive gun with search to crit. There's and Pierce. There's a big difference there. There's a really big difference there. But like I said, it just like I don't. Same thing to E-webs. Like I'm not gonna leave an E-web on a back point uncontested because I know what that can do. And Bosk's pulls more deadlier than that, in my opinion. But like I said, I'm outvoted, but I think he's a solid B.
I do like the edge
Back
of
end of B.
regenerate keyword. I think he's the only one that has regenerate, which when it
Yeah.
pulls it off, it works pretty good. Moving on, Agent Callus. Now I know Nick and I have got experience with Agent Callus. So Nick, how did you like Agent Callus's performance?
Agent Callus, I like Agent Callus. I've got to play old Agent
Oh,
Callus.
that's
I actually
right.
have
It
not
was.
I didn't get a chance to play new Agent Callus.
Mhm.
Uh but new Agent Callus is even better than old Agent Callus and very, very cheap. He's I gotta say he's at least B because he's so cheap. He's at least B and he's pretty decent. I mean, he could do at least he could do something. So I would say he's B.
I, I
I feel like he's at least B.
and I agree with you. You know, playing him in one of the tournaments that we had, he has so many keywords for 70 points that even if you don't bring his command cards, he benefits tremendously. The free action to observe too, the fact that you could direct a core trooper unit, and interrogate immune to melee pierce and everything,
Hmm.
plus charge, for 70 points, like that's all just great. So I think I agree with you. B. What do you think, Jose?
He'd be an A if he started tactical. I think that's the only
Yeah,
hiccup they had on
yeah,
this card.
I agree.
Because Observe 2 being free, like using Cody and getting free observes is awesome. Like off your command cards. This guy just has it on his card. Um, you have bounty on board. No command card needed like Asajj. He has charge. Charge in this game is great. The direct trooper I think is awesome. You can direct a unit that has Gideon that can chain to something else to like let's say a shore trooper. That shore trooper can then chain to a mortar. Like that's or even chain it to like an E-web. Like that is amazing. That's three orders just for free if you run that specific combination.
You know what's funny is like I do want to run a list with him with shore troopers. I think that would be
I
a good
think it's
list.
good. I think it could be
Yeah.
good. I think it'd be better if they dropped the double squad down, but that's another conversation for a different day. Having outright immune Pierce is awesome. That's awesome. Melee Pierce, not regular
Hmm.
Yeah,
Pierce.
correct.
But even though, like, you want this guy tied up with something dangerous like Mandos, you want him tied up with Vader, you want him tied up with anything that Wookiees, and he's just gonna have a better shot at surviving. And interrogate, if you can get there, and you can still, it's not cunning, but you know, you can do some shenanigans with it's great. Like I said, if he had tactical, it's an A. To be honest, you guys might tell me I'm crazy, but as somebody who's used contingencies from day one, and I've played Callus since day one, uh, I think loss of contingencies really sucks when it comes to list building. Sometimes you don't need his card, sometimes you do. Sometimes you want things in other flex spots. He gave you the freedom to, take Iden and take both of her two pips in case you needed them. You don't always need Iden's droid two pip. You don't always need Iden's red two pip gun, but with Callus, you could take them and then have them on board if you needed them. But
So nope.
B.
Moving on. Now, I'm very biased when it comes to the Inquisitors. I understand that not a lot of people like them and don't think they're great. I want to put Seven Sister in B tier. She's a Force user. Now, she suffers a lot for having only one Force slot because you generally want to close the gap and give her a burst of speed as opposed to choke or force push. But again, if it's great line of sight blocking on the table, having force choke is a good alternative. However, They could die fairly quickly because they don't have deflect. So I feel like for their points, they're pretty decently cost for what they do. And that's why I want to put them in B, but I could be convinced to put them in C. What do you think, Nick?
No, I agree with Seven Sister and B because she is cheap. She's only 110.
Hmm.
Um, and for and she's got a lot of good keywords. You know,
Yeah.
she's got doesn't have deflect, but she has block. She's got charge. She has immune pierce. You know, she has red save. She throws okay dice. You know, five black, not the best, but again, she's super cheap, so it's not that bad. So yeah, I think and we'll get to it, and she can bring another operative that doesn't take a slot, right? So she's kind of a two for one in that sense as well. So I know I agree with B.
What about you, Jose?
You ready to be shocked?
F tier?
Nah, C tier. But here's the shocking part. You ready?
Okay.
What if I told you I personally believe they are too expensive?
I can see that
They
argument.
no,
That's
they are egregiously expensive. Even taken together, they're not even on the level of like Commander Luke in my opinion. Like Commander Luke's shit. These are the
Language.
only force users. So I see a Dooku, I'm like, damn, I got a game plan for this. I see Vader, damn, I got a game plan for this. I see Grievous, who's not even a Force user, I have to game plan for this. There's three people with lightsabers that I see them on the table, and I'm like, yeah, that's Commander Luke and these two schmucks. And they're not intimidating. You could have all the great keywords in the world, but like, they don't kill things. I've played many games against them. And you could say old Legion, new Legion. When you're in melee, it doesn't even matter because you're just outright blocking or taking the shots to the face. And I've never seen these guys do any work where I'm just like, like the only thing that they have that's minorly screwed me up, and that's just from a tempos perspective, is their upgrade where they make you they roll and can stop you from using a force power. But even that's not guaranteed. You put force push on them, you're just making them stupid expensive.
I need
I
to play
mean,
you with my Vader Inquisitor list.
you've played me with you've used that list before. The Vader, Inquisitors, and Dewbacks. We've played it
Yeah.
before.
Yeah?
And yeah, you rushed both Fifth Sister or
Oh,
the
I did. I
Seventh
remember
Sister,
now. I remember now.
and
That's right.
you didn't
But that
kill
was that was
anything.
before 2.6.
No, but what I'm saying, my point is in melee, the 2 point doesn't matter because you're still in melee. That's what I'm talking about. Like Seventh Sister didn't kill anything. And I was even using, I think it was Empire because I was using Callus. Seventh Sister didn't kill the unit she was into. Fifth Brother heavily wounded the unit he was into, but they were like their benefit was just being tying me up so I couldn't get where I needed to go.
I think you
The
remember the game incorrectly, but that could be
No,
a
because the only
agree
one
to
that
disagree.
died, was Vader when you chased Callus into a corner. You killed Callus. But
Um,
no, I think they're too cheap. They can go down each. Call me crazy. I would be comfortable with them going down to was it 105? I'd be
No,
comfortable with them
she's
going to
she's 110.
yeah, she's
110.
110. Yeah.
Okay, I would be comfortable with both of them going down 15 points.
Oh my gosh.
They're
So,
not great, Nick.
moving on. Fifth brother. Jose, you first. Tell us what you think.
See, I just did it all together in one.
Okay,
I
so
don't like either of them, dude. Waste of
I
space.
still want to put fifth brother in B tier because he's got the health. He's got the charge keyword, which I think is really strong.
No, he doesn't have charge. He
Oh,
only gets
sorry.
it if he's enraged.
Correct. And I think I meant what RAM. That's what I meant.
Yeah, right.
RAM keyword. It's one of the unique keywords that I really like a lot onto him.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, on
Ram
his
2.
lightsaber.
Yeah, RAM 2. Yeah. Um, and he has Dauntless, so he's not being. He can still move if he's suppressed. Uh, but the downfall, in my opinion, and why I can be convinced to be put on MC, which I think Nick is going to go with, is because no one shoots at him because he doesn't get charged unless you shoot at
Yeah.
him, right? So people just ignore him, and he's got to slowly trug along the field, and that's which is smart. That's what you do. Just don't shoot at him. So he doesn't have a way to really wound himself other than new ways to motivate,
Vader.
which is only one wound, right? So we'll give it to him. So yeah, so that's where I'm gonna put him in B. But what do you think, Nick?
Yeah, no C. Yeah, he's not the same tier as Seven Sister. He's
Yeah,
too slow.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Where do we think we should put him? Above these guys? Below these guys?
Above, yeah, above all of them.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. Moving on. Veda. I think he's gonna be
Which
in D
one?
tier.
I'm
It's
kidding.
That's
I
yeah.
know, I know, I know, I know.
Definitely operative. He suffers more for the cosmic force push because his faction is more expensive. But this is Vader. You can take all six of his command cards. Really hard to kill still, being at 7 health. I would say arguably he's really good, fairly priced. And he's speed two, which is more important because he can traverse the field a lot faster than his counterpart commander. Um, he's got two training slots, two force slots. What's not to love? So A tier for me. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, you can put him in A. Not much discussion there. He hasn't really changed as
I
far
think
as the
he's
games.
I think he's better than the other two.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I I love that they got rid of Spur on him because in old Legion when he panicked, he just spurred himself off the board.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. No,
loved it, dude. But yeah, no, S tier, not even we don't even need to debate this.
he's
S
also
tier
got
all
one of
day.
my
Or
favorite
A tier, sorry.
keywords. One of my favorite keywords that hardly ever comes into play, which is Jedi Hunter. Like that's yeah. But moving on. Nick's favorite is one and only Ahsoka Tanu for the Rebels. Nick, tell me why you think this is S tier.
Oh my gosh. So this card, so this is a pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Um Pivotal. I mean, I don't know, momentous moment in I guess this was still FFG. It wasn't AMG, right? This
Yeah,
was
yeah. S is
FFG's
FFG. Yeah,
FFG's momentous
Was
point
it?
of yeah, this is FFG. This
yeah.
was before they switched. In FFG's career, this is one of the worst designed cards ever in a game, ever, like in a
Even at the
game.
time of
Yeah, at the
she came
time
out?
even. Oh yeah, this was garbage when it came out. I hated this. This card was terrible the second it came out. This was the worst. It's just a terrible design card. They didn't know what they were doing with this card. They didn't know what they were doing. They couldn't decide what they were doing. Is she offensive? Is she defensive? Is she just a support character? Is she what is she? What is she? They don't know. They didn't even know. They
To
didn't
be
know what to do
fair,
with her.
I feel like those that screams what you're saying right now is the command cards. Because if you look at just her stats, look at like she's meant to be aggressive, right?
Her lightsaber's not.
Sure, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
But I
that's like
mean, she
Obi
does
So
search the
so
Obi
how
turret.
Rainbow.
but how
And,
can you be aggressive if your lightsaber does no damage? How can
uh,
how
She
can
has
you have
such Go
how
on,
can
she has Surge to crit. It's Obi-Wan's
who
lightsaber, but
who
she has Surge to
cares?
crit. He
Who
doesn't.
cares? Doesn't matter if you're search to crit. Who cares? You're not rolling
Uh,
any dice. You're getting 3 hits. Doesn't matter. Who cares if you
extra
search to
faces
crit?
are extra faces, man.
Doesn't matter.
so where do you want to put her?
D.
D.
That's
Okay.
being generous.
All right, not Nick. Jose, what do you think? You know what's funny? Before you say anything, just to point out, she's 145. Obi-Wan's only 150, and they have the same lightsaber. But anyways,
Yeah, but Obi-Wan's in a more expensive faction, so it hits harder than hers.
sure, sure.
Obi-Wan
I'm
does something though.
uh
You so
debatable, debatable.
Yeah, Obi-Wan is Guardian. He does something every turn.
Sure, 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 sure. Yeah.
Give her Guardian, then she would actually do something.
you know what's funny? I was just gonna say if your two things, does your mind change if one she has
Oh
Guardian
yeah,
and two does
if
your
they gave
mind
yeah, if they gave her Guardian, perfect. Then now
the
she does
reason
something.
the reason I'm saying is because the Jakar Mastery like the combination of Jakar Mastery and Charge is like not where it's at. Because Jakar you want the dodges to be able to flip her stuff, be able to flip her offense on. But if you're taking a dodge, you only got one move to do a charge. It doesn't seem like it's like I agree with you. Second one is, does your opinion change if they said, "Hey Nick, you can take the Ahsoka Tano cards that just came out for Republic"?
The command cards.
Because that's a free that those give
Oh,
you a free move. It gives you Guardian. It gives you a choice of it gives you access to Sheen, I think. No, not Sheen. It just gives you more mechanically
well, more
The
importantly,
maneuverable
well,
things.
go ahead and answer this one, Nick. I got a question afterward.
Yeah, that's not really because the command cards, command cards, although they're nice, they only solve one turn. They're not command cards, not the be all end all, right? And you're not playing probably every command card small one character. It's really their unit card. That's really where their strength has to lie nowadays. So yeah, and your unit card needs to change.
Have you played her in 2.6?
No, there's no point.
So, okay, so you want to put her in D tier, and Jose, where did you put her at?
I don't think she's worse than any of the guys in C.
Yeah, she is.
You think she's worse than Fifth Brother?
Yeah, because she's what? She's 40 points more expensive.
She does more than he does.
No, she doesn't. No,
Yes, she
she
does.
doesn't.
Yeah, charge
So, wait, wait.
alone,
Well,
charge
don't let Nick
alone.
don't let Nick influence you. Where do you
No,
want
no,
to
no.
put her?
To be honest, like Seventh Sister deserves to be in C as well. I think Ahsoka's in C because she still has jump two, she has charge. For getting an order, she gets a dodge token. Yes, I know I say it doesn't matter, but it's still something. It's not independent dodge where you would want her to have an order. She seems order hungry. I think the only thing holding her back is like Jakar and Charge. Like that doesn't mix to me. I don't mind her lightsaber because Surge to crit. I mean, Nick can say, oh, it's only three hits, but like Surge to crit was if Surge to anything was not good, nobody would make a big point in those units that have it versus those that don't. Obi does not have it. If Obi had Surge to crit, they'd be saying his lightsaber is amazing. I feel like that Surge to crit
No,
matters, but
no.
she's in C at bare minimum. She's in C. The only person that should be in B right now is Callus. To me personally, she's a C. I think you could
Okay.
take her, you can do something with her, you can work with it. Her main problem is like command cards. Like they even screwed up one of hers, making it have to take Sabine with her. So
I mean, that's just an extra one, right? She has four command
It's an
cards, like
extra one, yeah.
just like Count Dooku. Which honestly, I like those
I
command
don't
cards
even like
because
that one. But continue.
yeah, but I like the flavor of those. Okay, here's my hot take. I think she's actually a B tier. I think you're meant to play with her aggressively. Granted, I don't play Rebels. I've never played this Ahsoka Tano, but looking at her kit and everything, like I feel like you slap on force reflexes. This screams defensive stance, right? And she has charge. Jakar mastery. If you have dodges, that lightsaber does come into play and can really hurt you, right? Um, and of course, you can take force push, which is huge in the Rebel faction because they can afford force push like the CIS can. But
She doesn't have
B,
Master of the Force though.
sure, but she does have one command card that gives her a free recover, right? And that's practically the only time you need to do is for one turn to recover. Um, so defensive stance gives you two dodges. I think some of her command cards give her dodges. I am no Jedi. She gets agile one. Um, and in this game where you want to be slapped on a POI, that's not really a bad thing for Ahsoka Tano. She wants to be in the fray, fighting everything. You slap a defensive stat into the fray. I think you could see if definitely bigger influence. I do agree the saber's not the greatest. Those white dice can really screw you up. But she does have a command card where she gets more white dice. So hey, cheers to that. But for that reason, that's why I want to put her in B. I don't.
She's not worth
Uh,
200 points
So
or almost
so
200 when you put
here's
Force through
here's
or
my
Force
counter
push.
to that,
okay.
JR. Since you don't play Rebels, here's my counter to that. If you're saying, oh, but she could be a great aggressive piece, then just bring OP Luke.
Well,
He's
agreed.
just 20 points more, and he's
Better.
better.
I agree
And so that thing. So why bring her?
because I mean, again, I have no experience here. But if you brought OP Luke and Ahsoka Tano, both
That's a lot of points.
both a force push, but
Yeah.
Rebels could afford it. Rebels could afford it.
I don't know. You're dropping some acts at that point, and then now they're not going last, and you don't have
Sure.
great order control, so they're
And
getting
command cards
they're
because
pro
Luke has
and yeah,
six.
and then you're they're stealing their orders from each other. You're probably getting eaten. One of them's getting eaten.
Like,
Sure,
what are
sure.
you replacing? Like, when you take OP Luke, like, you're more times than not, you're bringing all his command cards. Which one of these
I just
Ahsoka
think
command cards replaces any of OP Luke's?
I just think with the new changes, oh, there's definitely some Luke cards you don't want to take, but I just think with the new changes to deflect always on and Jakar Master, I think is one of the better masteries because you can use the dodges for defense or offense. You know, I think this she slept on a little bit. I'm not saying she's really great. I'm just saying I think there's some things you could do that is I would say definitely not meta, but could be good in the right list. But again, I digress. I have no experience playing Rebels, so I could totally be wrong here. But however, that means we are B, C, and D. So someone's got to compromise. Who's compromising?
Just split the middle and make it C.
That's not how that works.
It's
It's you. Do you
it's
want to
literally how
compromise?
it should work.
I know none of you guys are compromise for B, so I'll
You convert you
compromise.
you convert the bottom of C.
Yeah, yeah, we'll compromise for C. C, that sounds good. Moving on. Uh, Darth Maul, my baby, my one that I won LVO with, 2.6. I definitely think he's an A tier. Um, for the same reason we said Shadow Collective. I think he's slightly worse than Shadow Collective
What?
because Shadow Collective has better command cards than CIS Maul, and but again, it's not like it's by much. It's very minuscule on how better Shadow Collective Maul. Just because Witch Magic is really good. The one where I forgot what it's called, where you put a bunch of green tokens on his Maul's command card for Shadow Collective, and you get to use them for your units. I think that's really good too. Yeah. So, what do you think, Jose?
I'm putting him in S.
Oh, really? Okay. Why?
He has way too much flexibility for what he brings to his faction. He's on the cheaper end. I mean, the he's on the cheaper end. He has, he doesn't need the other three. So here's my thing. He doesn't need the other three command cards to be effective in CIS, whereas I feel like in Shadow Collective, he kind of needs Maul's other command cards to be effective. Um, he got the what is it? His Geo Mastery. Yeah, it's not a game of grabbing stuff anymore, but like guaranteed to go last in CIS, where he's not guaranteed to do that in Shadow Collective. In a better faction than in Shadow Collective, a bigger impact player in CIS than Shadow Collective, and he makes more explosive game turning plays than Mando. Like his sneakiness, like when you see Vader, you have to plan for Vader. Maul can just hit you from left field because either you want him dying to free up everything else, or they don't go for him and he sneaks away and does something really, really obnoxious that turns games on their points. I think just all that together, like to me, he's S. He's been an S since day one. No flaw card, automatic S.
Well, why do you think he's more deserving of S? I mean, I'm sure you already said than Shadow Collective. Like they do
Oh
essentially
yeah,
the same
because
thing, but Shadow
you have
Collective
no
has more command
control.
cards.
No, because you need those command cards in Shadow Collective. You don't need that. Like it's nice. It would be nice to have Witch Magic. It would be nice to have the token generation card. It'd be nice to have those things, but the difference is you kind of need Maul to live in Shadow Collective because he's such a focal power point in that faction alone. Because when you're spending points in Shadow Collective, you need everything to do something. You need everything to be impactful. Maul goes down a turn too early and he's screwed. Maul in CIS is protected by the order chaining, whereas Maul, unless you're giving him an order, he's not guaranteed to go last.
Okay, Nick, what about you?
Yeah, CI small is better than Shadow Collective Mall for sure.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
do you agree with the S tier?
I don't know about S tier, but I'm looking at all of them. It's like, gosh, which one are we going to put in S tier? But maybe there is no S tier too. Um, I'll say I don't know about S, but I'll say A for sure. Say A for sure, and ahead of Shower Club Ball. So I'll at least say that for sure.
I think, and looking at the rest of the operatives, I think there's one that I'll vouch for S tier, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'm just
Okay.
curious. But
God,
yeah,
mate, God damn it, JR.
I just feel like force users, the game is played very spread out throughout the board. Maul could be in the wrong area and then he's got to traverse the terrain. And in this game, you really want to be in position already. But anyways, moving on, Asajj Ventress. Um, I want to do the same here. I want to put her in A. She has relentless, so your move relentless. She has Jakar and independent dodge, so that's really huge. You don't have to give her an order. Where I think she does suffer is when you give her orders from her command cards, like then you don't get that free dodge. But then again, that's a mute point because deflect is always on now, right? So really the dodge is there for Jakar. She has Indomitable. She only has 5 health, which kind of sucks, but she could take Force Push in this faction because it's cheaper, and then Force Choke. And her command cards aren't that bad. She literally gets 2 masteries because of her 3 pip. Like Makashi Mastery is, I think, the S tier mastery in all of the game.
Yep.
So because of that reason, I want to put her in A. She could be a potential S, but she doesn't have the health for an S tier. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, she's definitely A. For all the things you said, and the fact that she's protected by her faction. She lives in a faction that is high activation and perfect order control. So,
Jose?
No, I have used Asajj
oh, and
in
ahead
New
of Shadow
Legion.
Collective, I would put her ahead of Shadow Collective Mall.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh
okay.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
Interesting.
I have used Asajj in this new edition, and I being that I've never used Asajj before, like I went out when the new edition hit and Aquas came, I'm like, I'm buying Asajj. I'm buying Asajj. Dooku behind one wall, Asajj behind another, and my crabs, go, go, go.
Mm.
No, Asajj is amazing. I've played I played I think 2 events with her already. I've had scrimmage pickup games with Rob, and on my game with Rob, like I ran Asajj on a solo mission on the left side, and her just holding up a dark trooper, some snow troopers, because he doesn't want her to come over and start getting into the blender, like paid for itself right there. She's a presence in the field. 5 health is I will say sucks because I was one shot, 1 health off by sleeper cell. But even when you're not getting the independent dodge, like you can put cards on that can help her mitigate some of that stuff. Sometimes you just need one dodge to get where you need to go safely. Um, with the scout off of crab and burst of speed, she's a missile. I like her. I put her in A, and I do put her ahead of Shadow Collective. I like Asajj. My only gripe is I don't know if I like the extra Dooku Asajj card or not. Maybe it's just I haven't figured it out yet. But in all the games, I've taken it in every game, and I just never find a spot to use it because I feel like the tempo's off on it.
Which one? What command card?
The Sith Lord Rise.
Oh, the Sith rule all.
Well,
Um,
yeah, because like Dooku goes and then Asajj goes, or Asajj goes and then Dooku goes. Like
it's the
I
timing.
haven't found a spot to use it because I
Well,
feel like I lose tempo when I use it.
the timing's off because more than likely your opponent's gonna focus on one of these guys. So one of them usually dead by the time you use this.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, all right. Moving on to Sun Fact. I think this is my first F tier. This guy just doesn't do anything. Like the direct is nice. He has 5 health, white saves. He has cover one, which is mediocre, right? How often are you gonna roll a surge? He's not that cheap in my opinion. He's 80 points, 10 points more than Callus. And Callus has got great keywords. Now he gets a move for free, but his guns suck. It's one red, one white, and one black. Like if we're gonna argue that Ahsoka's lightsaber is horrible. This is half that, and it's all it is suppressive. His melee is mediocre, right? The Pierce one is nice. Um, I just, yeah, especially okay. This is my biggest pet peeve. I love Geonosians, but the ability to put a unit or the unit leader onto scatter terrain and that cancels out death from above annoys the living fire out of me. So for that reason, Sun Fact to me is F. I just don't think you take this guy at all. What do you think,
Oh, oh,
Jose?
oh,
Okay.
oh.
No, go ahead, Nick.
I was just saying, I'll go with your F.
Okay.
I agree with the F. I feel like they made a promise that we were gonna get a Geonosian battle force, and battle forces can turn certain things because you get certain command cards, you get certain buffs. I feel like maybe he sucks because we have that Geonosian battle force in the pipeline. Maybe that changes it, but nah, he's
Hmm.
garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on. I honestly thought I had Ahsoka in the Rebel area, but apparently not. She wanted to sneak in there. So Nick, this is your territory, my man. What do you feel about Cassian? He just got a new rework. Oh no, yeah, he did,
Yeah,
didn't he? Yeah,
yeah.
okay, he got
I
a new
mean, well, sure, we'll call it a rework. Yeah, a rework. Yeah.
So how do you have you played him in the new version?
No, I don't
Okay.
see much point to.
Okay, tell us why.
So I feel like he's in between right now. He's he's like not priced as a support, but he's not offensive either in this game, right?
Mm,
In this game now, to be offensive, you gotta throw some decent dice, and he's not throwing a lot of dice. His sniper rifle, I mean, I know some people play the sniper rifle. I just don't know if that does anything anymore, especially if you're playing against these super squads. Who cares if you're taking a model, if you take 5 models off the board across the whole entire game? Whoop-de-doo. That's not going to do nothing. And actually would even be so I feel like the sniper rifle is moot. Like that doesn't matter anymore. Um, they moved him to the operative slot, which I think hurt him so bad. That was the one thing that was good for him, that you could take him as a commander and then move him to the operative.
but
So
they
now
gave
he's
him field commander.
Why is that a difference? Because like
because you
took him as an
before
operative. Oh, good.
because before you could take a commander and 2 operatives and then move him to operative. Now he takes your operative slot. So you take one less
Uh,
operative when you take Cassian now.
gotcha.
Yeah, so you lose an operative if you bring Cassian. So he's 90 points. He's not killing anything. He doesn't have like a cool new Lando keyword where he's like doing something for your army. He's not supporting your army like in any way. He doesn't do anything to support your army. No keyword support. I just don't know what he does. He doesn't do anything. Um, yeah.
Where do you want to put him?
He's people maybe disagree, but I think he's D.
is hold on, is do you have K2SO in here?
Yeah, I do.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, because like that matters.
Um, D tier. So you think he's worse than all the ones above him?
And that yeah, and I'm probably grading that more specifically on the rank that he's in the army he's in.
Okay,
I don't want to spend 90 points on that slot for him. I
gotcha.
want to spend points on that slot for the other things, for the other ones we're going to talk about, for one of the ones we already talked about, for Din,
Mhm.
right? I just don't. He was the commander before, and that's why you brought him.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, I'm conflicted because I want to agree with you, but I'm also grading him with K2SO because
So
okay.
So I like this. I like where you're going with this because I think that hurts him even more
Oh, okay.
Oh,
because because now you're telling me he's a 160 point operative that that again doesn't do a whole lot because I'm sorry, K2SO standing around and calculating odds to give himself an aim and a dodge, to give Cassian an aim and a dodge. Maybe an old Legion that was nice. In this Legion, who cares? What is Cassian going to do with that?
Sure.
Again,
hmm.
and now that's 160 points.
But K2SO is also a rock, and he doesn't have to calculate. Like in Old
No,
Legion,
he is not. He is 5 wounds on non-surging red dice against super
armor.
squads. Who cares? Against super squads, he will die instantly.
To be fair though, he has
Nick has Super
incognito.
Squad fear.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm
he
saying.
he can get in melee and hit the first hit before he gets hit.
He has 4 red dice.
Four res, nothing to sneeze at.
Four is nothing to
Yeah.
sneeze at, but I don't know.
I mean,
So okay,
realistically, what
he
Super
rolls.
Squads are we seeing? Just clone Super
So
Squads.
even forget the super squads. Okay, he rolls 4 red dice against an arc squad. He gets
Armor 1.
he gets 3 hits, maybe 4 hits. They roll a dodge. They save 2. He kills 1 arc, and then the arcs roll 8 black back into him.
But the calculated odds, like I was trying to say, like, oh, I'll wait till my part, but go ahead.
And
No, no,
that's the
no.
thing too. Calculate odds is an action. So
Mm-hmm.
how often is he doing that? If he's running forward and charging people, then he's not running forward and attacking because he has no charge. So he's not calculating odds on a turn he's doing that. So so again, he is a you have to 5 wounds on red save is a you have to always remember that's a 5-man stormtrooper squad. He's a
But
storm
that's an armor 1
armor
red
one.
thing.
Okay,
That's
with a
very different.
with a dodge token. He has a dodge token. That's all that.
Those storms don't got it, and we've seen
But
people
again, that's
with.
all it is. It's a dodge token. Again, against arc squads throwing 10 dice, B2s throwing 10 dice. And I'm not even talking about super squads. I'm just talking about regular squads. He can't go in. If he goes into melee against those squads, he's not going to win those battles. He is going to lose. He will
But he
So
doesn't
die.
always have to do that.
so
But
with
then
that
what is
being
he doing? Because he is a 70.
Giving a free aim and a dodge to an approaching sleeper cell is going to delete something.
No, that's not worth 70 points, and that's not worth 70 points and a 90-point tax on top of that to take Cassian.
so I would say rate Cassian as if he brought K2SU.
I think that makes him worse.
So would you put him in F?
No, I'll keep him in D,
D?
but I
Okay.
don't think I guess I don't think that makes it better.
Got it. Uh all right, Jose, go ahead. You had some strong words. Let me hear what you think.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I believe Cassian is with K2. So Cassian with K2, I'm putting him in B. Nick can tell me I'm wrong.
Whoa.
But
Cassian and B.
yeah, so
Okay,
from speaking
okay.
from the same point Nick is saying he hasn't played Cassian in New Legion. Neither have I. But JR, you know I was a staunch Cassian believer from day one.
Oh,
I've played
I
a
will
lot
clarify.
of
I will clarify. I've played him in. I have played him in New Legion. I haven't played the new rework. No,
rework Legion.
I played Cassian and K2 quite a bit actually in the new Legion. It's actually what I
So
played quite a bit the first when they first came out 2.6. I have played him.
so my thing is I don't believe K2's nothing to sneeze at. Calculate odds. To me, even in old Legion, calculate odds, I was just using it turn 1 and that was it. And then I was marching on and then calculating odds on something else like Pathfinders on their range 2 gun.
Forget the old game though. Forget
No, no,
it.
no, no. I'm just saying, even now, like I just gave you an example. So forget the new game, cool.
Forget the old game.
I'm gonna give an already deadly sleeper cell unit an extra aim and a dodge. So now they have 2 dodges. They have three aims, and now they're throwing eight dice in your face. So you tell me all you want, Nick, that that's dumb, but
That's not worth 70
uh,
points.
yes, it is.
If you
That's the difference of maybe
if you
that's the
really
difference
want
of
to give
maybe
sleep
one
if you
shotting
really
one.
want to give sleeper cell an aim, you could put a electric binoculars on a rebel trooper for 8 points, and that could give him
Yes,
super cell an
but the
aim.
rebel troopers are just supposed to be naked. That's how you should be playing them.
But that's eight
Okay,
points
but
versus
not only
70.
no, but
I
that's
just
but
saved you 62 points.
no. Um, KTSO can be a tool that you use in different ways. Yeah, you want to charge him, you want to attack him, get into range two. We'll have that conversation. But here's the thing: if you're smart enough, and the arcs can't get into range two to pop the incognito, cool, K2 safe. But if your arcs came into range two, because keep in mind, if your arcs got into range outside of range two of K2, and he just fed sleeper cell and aim in a dodge, that sleeper cell is going to delete that arc unit.
No, they
I've seen
So
sleeper
so
cell delete arc units.
where are you putting K2SO then? And Nick, same question to you, because we're rating both of these together,
uh,
which
So
arguably I think they need to be together.
so
So I know Nick, you said D for Cassian.
I put them together. I just put them both
D,
in D.
okay. Jose, what about you? You want Cassian B? Where do you want K2SO?
no. So I put K2SO in B. Cassian is a C only because I don't understand why they put Jin's gun on her card, why they put Callus's gun on his card, why they put Aiden's gun on his card, and Cassian still has to make his gun. Like I think that was a missed opportunity to put both of his guns on his card.
So I agree with Nick on Cassian, but I agree with Jose on K2SO. And the only reason I agree now, I think K2SO suffers more because of Cassian because you got to bring him. That's a tax, right? So, and my argument and my hot take for operatives and commanders is they should all be hitting 6 dice and above. Like if you're not, you should not be. You're just not that good in the game, right? These other ones, that are above that don't throw at least 6 dice, I would, very much vouch that they should be added to the 6 dice pool. Because you want them to do something. Like you want them to attack. They're heroes. They're villains. You want them to be more than the average sleeper cell, right? Or at least, have some leeway to like decimate somebody. And for that reason, Cassian doesn't really do that. And I agree with Nick on that. And, marksman is a good keyword, but I mean, does it really matter when you're shooting at a super squad and you get 3 crits through?
I think the FOMO is wild because in mass we're only seeing Gar abuse super squads in mass. Now I'm not
Well,
talking
I
about year
mean,
one. Hold on, I'm
CIS
not.
is doing the
But I'm
same.
not. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying one-offs. There has been CAS players that dabble here. I dabbled a little bit,
Mm.
but realistically, the people abusing super squads right now, like abuse, like you'll see a tournament and these guys will have like six, seven, maybe 10 slots in the tournament are the shotgun super squads.
But it's more than just the
Everything
super
else,
squads. It's also the dice pools have gone
every
up.
Right,
well, no,
right.
even then,
Because
like
well, just like Nick had said, like B2s, arcs, like they're just normal squads are throwing like at least 6 to 8 dice at you.
I know,
And
but Cassian's one pure shot is okay. So put it this way: say he hits two
mhm.
crits, you're not dodging them because they're crits, and then you fail those rolls. Yes, it's a dice game. Everything's on random. Okay, cool. So your arc squad are throwing two dice per mini. Cassian's one shot with two dice, and they can get crits. I've done it multiple times now peeled off two dice, peeled off four dice. In that and it's a 4 to 5 squad man unit. That matters. Now I agree with Nick in super squad terms, you shoot everything but those things. But if you got a shot on an arc, it's and maybe not so much now because they carry the damn medic. Pre-medic, that has a chance of really severely dampening. I'm less scared of a 6 dice arc shot than I am a 10 dice arc shot or an 8 dice arc shot.
sure, I do agree with Jose for K2SO being beer because I think K2SO is actually really strong. I mean, taking Jin's gun, that's 5 white for Surge to crit that is Pierce 1 and suppressive. And the best part about it is you have incognito, so you get to potentially you could first last him, right? And
Hmm.
he's got armor one, he's got red saves.
Yeah,
Cap
you won't have that order control. You're not first lasting him.
Sure, and
You're
that's that.
you're living in a CIS dream there, JR.
I agree. I agree. I have little experience here, but I just feel like he's strong, and all of my experience is coming from playing against them in Old Legion. So granted, that might not carry a lot of
Yeah.
weight here.
That's why you
Um,
take
So
two
so let me
improvised
let me
orders.
let me describe let me describe let me describe that turn when you roll that five white dice.
mhm.
So yeah, so you roll that five white dice, you maybe get two paint, and they spin a dodge and they take one wound, and now your incognito's gone, and then you die.
But arguably, if he's being shot at, that's good, right? Because you don't want nothing else to be shot at. But again, I
Hold on,
digress.
I
I don't have a lot of experience with the rebels, so I don't. It's a mute point for me. I just looking at his stats, I'm just like, this just screams, it can be good, right? But yeah, I'll put him in C. I'll compromise and put him in C. You guys agree with that?
You can keep him B. That's fine. That's
No, no,
fine.
because you make a good point, and white dice are very swingy. White
no
dice
no
be
no.
white
So
dice,
no, hold on. So JR's gonna argue because it's my app, but I just did five dice roll, and I got one surge,
but
would be
they're
a crit. Hold on, one surge and two hits. My next roll, nothing. Next roll, a surge and a hit. The next roll,
All
two
right, that's
surges,
enough of
two
that. Go to the
hits.
next card.
The
yeah,
next
yeah.
roll, surge. Like I'm.
We gotta move on. We gotta move
We gotta
on.
move on. Move on. Move on.
But yeah, I'll compromise and put him in six.
It's
Or sorry, six. I meant C tier.
K2's got to be ahead of all that, in front of all of that.
I disagree with you
Really?
100%. I mean, literally two of these in this C tier have Pierce. I mean, all of them have Pierce. Like he's just gonna melt to Pierce.
But none of them can shoot him unless they're in his kill zone or his attack
I
range.
agree, but Incognito is a one trick turn, right? Like you have it until you lose it, and you want to lose
Yeah.
it pretty early on, in my opinion, because you want to shoot things. So moving on, Jin Urso herself, Nick. Tell me what you had high hopes and they just crumbled
Hmm.
them. But
Yeah.
why? Why did they do that?
Yeah. Yeah. I've kind of said before, she's not good. She's also cheap, so she's not like bad, but she's taking that operative slot, which is like, eh. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people are playing her, and I've seen some games, but it's exactly kind of what you expect to happen. She gets in there and then she dies because she can't survive. So she gets like a turn and then she dies. But she's cheap, so she's C. I guess I'd give her C.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Jose, what about you?
I don't like anything about her.
Okay.
Like to be honest, I think they made her worse. I think
She is worse, yeah.
pre pre-change I would have gave her C. I'm giving her D.
So I'm gonna agree with Nick on here because again, I look at all these keywords and it screams good on paper that it's good. However, she suffers the same fate as Cassian, and that she's only throwing maximum four dice in melee, three. Like she needs to be in the six pool or higher, and I think she'd be way better in this game. So yeah, C just because these keywords look really good, and again, no experience with her because I don't play her. I just play against her. And the last time I played against her, she just melted when I killed her. So, where do you think it's C she should go?
You could put her at the bottom of C. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. R2D2 for the Rebels. Uh,
F.
yeah,
F.
yeah,
He's too expensive.
yeah. I agree.
And he's taking the operative slot. He's too expensive to take the operative slot.
Yep.
There's no reason to spend an operative slot on him.
You
He
know
should
he.
be he should
Go ahead.
be uh I don't even, oh, he should be associate. He should be associate
Yes.
everyone. Luke, Han, Leia,
Mhm.
Chewie, all of the heroes. He should be associate those heroes. He should not count as a rank.
Yes, I agree with you. I think what they should do come out with is associate. I'm just spitballing here, like New Hope heroes, right? And
Hmm.
then like when they
Yeah.
come out with Chopper, associate Ghost Crew, right?
Yep.
But yeah, no. Ironically, he was only 38 points and he was taking all the time. Now that he's 55, no one ever took him after that.
Well, Secret
He
Mission
should
used to
be
be
back
good, but
down.
yeah, it's not good anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He,
yeah,
his points should come down.
yeah.
yeah.
All right, moving on. We got Sabine. Um, ugh, I don't. We'll let Jose go first. Jose, what do you think of Sabine?
I love Sabine. I hate her now. I hated her then. Um, her bombs are trash. Yay, you get to use her melee gun. That's awesome. It's it's trash. It's three dice. The dark sabers, okay. I mean, other than that, she's just your basic run of the mill Mando. Um, yeah, I don't. Why take her when you could take OP Luke? Why take her when you could take Din? Why take her when you can take any of the other operatives? I'm only gonna put her in B because she's a Mando, and I think she's better than everything in C. But realistically, like that's for her sturdiness. Like she has whipcord, she has her. I think she has her shield. Um, she can be sticky when she needs to be. She can hold something up. She's speed 3. She has way more usage case than the other people in C tier, but I mean, at this point, you're paying for an expensive distraction piece.
Okay.
Other than that, nah.
What about you, Nick?
I would say she's C tier.
Thanks here.
Yeah,
Why?
she doesn't throw any dice. She's not. Yeah, she's not. She can't really affect the game too much. I don't see how she's much better than the Boba Fett. At least Boba Fett could actually maybe kill something.
Well, she does get a shield, right? And dark saber.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know why they gave her gun to be
She
shot
gets
at
too
melee.
expensive. She gets really expensive though when you put the dark saber and the shield and all this stuff on. She's like she gets.
My gripe is I hate like at 800 points she's expensive. At 200 point at 1,000 you can make some wiggle room for this. Like I hate that, and I know Rob's gonna be like, "That's not the way it works." Blah blah blah, whatever.
But that's
Go
not the way it
go.
works.
No, but like in 800 points she's expensive, and in 1,000 points you can take her. She is an
You
option.
could put her high C. You could put her high
I
C.
I mean, she does have gunslinger. That's nothing to sneeze at. Um, I mean the melee I don't think really matters because you always want to give her the dark saber. I just think that's just way too good.
Her
But yeah, she's too expensive. I agree with C. Where we want for C? Above
Yeah.
everybody else?
And and here's the thing too. And here's also I'll say this, and this kind of points out to why she's too expensive for what she does. Most people would take Jin over her
Sure.
because even though Jin's not as sturdy, Jin is so much cheaper and doing about the same,
So
but she's just so much cheaper.
does that mean that Jin should be better higher than her?
Maybe.
I
I think
just
that's
I
that's
just like her.
copium.
She definitely has a higher survivability than Jin, and
Sure.
arguably that's the better thing to be in this
Sure.
version of the game.
Sure. Sure. You can keep her
Whip
up there.
whip
That's fine.
whipcording something and not letting it move on to a point to score is awesome. So the suppressive on it's awesome. If Jin ties anything up to try to contest a POI, she's gonna get deleted. If Sabine ties something up to contest a POI, you're a good shot that she's gonna stay alive.
At
I don't know. I
158, she's not that bad price for like a shield, the ripcord, up close and personal, and dark saber. Pretty okay. But moving on, I think this is going to be my first S tier unit, Chewbacca. Chewbacca serves one role, and that's to guardian everything for everybody, get charged, and go womp on somebody. His bowcaster is not that bad. It's two red, two white. Surges to crit. has 9 health, the highest health for one model in the game. Um, and yeah, I just think he has teamwork with Han Solo, which is really good. But I really think you just take this guy to guardian everything. That's his whole purpose, and he does a really good job of doing it. And Rebel, that's not a bad thing because you don't want people to shoot your white save army. Well, Chewie can take the hits for you. But that's my opinion. 90 points not that bad. What do you think, Jose?
F.
Oh, God dang. Okay. All right. Why?
I'm sorry, dude. It's what Guardian 3, right?
Yeah, it's Guardian 3.
Cool. Guardian 3 on my 10 dice pool. I'm probably still gonna take out the unit I want to take out. It's just there's too many dice, dude. Like Guardian 3
But
does like
you're making a scenario where you win, right? You got to put it in perspective of
no, because here's
because
the thing. No,
you could do
it's not a blanket scenario, dude. It's not. It's the world we're living in.
you could literally
Okay?
do heavy cover, dodges,
It's
Guardian 3.
not stop. See, you're living in an imaginary world.
You literally
Cover
just
is
said
not cover is not what it used to be. Here's the thing. I've used old cover, I've used new cover. New cover is ass compared to old
I
cover.
have Nick has convinced me that this cover change is better.
That's fine.
Even though
Nick,
this is more swingy, it when you get that roll that you block more,
how
like
often do you get that roll? How often?
again, it's you're rolling a lot of dice.
Okay, so
I think it happened more often than you
okay,
think.
so here's the thing. You got a rebel unit with cover two with a
You're doing it
dodge.
again. You're doing
That's
it again.
three.
You're
No,
giving
dude, it's
yourself a scenario where you win.
no.
Again,
All
I'm
right, wait, wait.
telling
I
you.
wait. Hold on. All right. I get what Jose's saying.
mm,
So I don't think Chewie's F, but I was kind of surprised you said S, JR.
yeah,
Because I get what Jose's saying. Because I don't think Chewie's S because I also agree that because the dice pools are so much bigger, that Chewie now dies so much faster. That him sucking up shots like he used to is not as effective.
Well, also the other thing
Because
too, Nick, is is it okay? Let me ask you this. The easy question. Is it easier to pick up four rebel models now or four rebel models in Old Legion? Before with minus Guardian right now. Is it easier to kill four rebel models in
that's
Old
literally
Legion?
what he does is Guardian. That's the
No,
whole
no, but
point
my
of
point,
his kit.
my point is the difference is he was able to Guardian because the dice pools he was blocking was 5, 4, 6, 7, and you were taking two off the top unless they were crits, and you were taking a dodge from Nimble. That's three off the top. I don't know I don't know any rebel in Old Legion that didn't soak up at least bare minimum 2 to 3 because of old cover and because of dodging. Even when the dodge check was crazy with the captains and situational awareness, that was what they lived on was those dodges because the dodge pools that they were taking were not big. They were not big at all. And when you factor that in, if Chewie Guardians 3 and 1 got through, there was a high probability you weren't picking a model up. Chewie can block 3 and then you're praying to the dice gods to
So
maybe spike.
you're just kind of proving my point for me, in my opinion, because
No, I'm not,
and
bro.
the reason why I think that is because in Rebel, this is I think other than Ahsoka's command card, the only Guardian unit they have. Am I right in that?
yes, I believe so.
So like
Oh,
when
and
you're
K2.
Well, the
sure
command
with his
card,
command
yeah.
card, yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's literally all Chewbacca's role is the Guardian. And when you have that option for your sleeper cells, for your commanders that like OP Luke, that's he's not
What
a
does
commander,
Sleeper
but
Cell have built in
hold on. So sleeper cell, he gets the dodge, they get nimble, right? They get the heavy cover, and then you just slap Guardian on top of it, right? Like the defensive tech goes up with Chewie. And granted, you could just target Chewie, which is what you want him to do, be targeted, because then they're not shooting at sleeper cell, right?
what is
If
that
if I
doing?
had somebody had Chewie and the sleeper cell right next to each other, and I shoot sleeper cell, like that's just three off the top, and like three off the top of your hit, Jose, like, and that just gives the sleeper cell
JR.
another chance to do more
Three
damage.
off the top what does three off the top do against a aim to two aimed super squad 14
Three off
dice
the top.
pierce one?
It
Uh,
saves three. It
yeah.
saves
Does that
three.
do
The
anything against
yes. You know the
Yeah.
alternative to that is nothing. That's the alternative to your scenario. That's
my point is I'm not saying the three off the top though. My point is
you
take three off the top all you want. I'm still gonna severely
no,
injure
you're not.
or kill
Again,
something.
again. It's a mute point. I'm just saying my argument why he's in S tier is because
All right.
the role
So
he plays is good.
so you said S. Jose said
It's an S
F.
tier.
So so I guess I get to say whatever I want. And that's where it goes because
That's
I
yeah.
can split the difference.
There you go. You have more
Uh,
experience than
Why don't we
us.
see Chewie?
we do. You do
You
see
do.
Chewie.
You do see
You do.
Chewie.
Not as much as everything else.
Oh,
Yeah, you
oh.
see pretty regularly with when people play Han. People play Han Chewie.
Mm,
Yeah, that's
In
pretty.
yeah.
Ewoks?
No, Rebels and Rebels.
I
Yeah, yeah,
literally just played a game with
yeah.
Han
No,
Chewie.
you do. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
I see him in lists. I'm gonna see look at tournament lists. You do see him. You do see when people play Han, they usually play Chewie as well. Yeah. Um, I would say he's B. I would say he's B. I'd say B because he does have a use. That is true, and he is still 9 health, and he can suck up some
If
shots.
you're spending points on Chewie and not bringing Bad Batch and not bringing Mando and not
Again,
bringing anything else,
this
I'll take
not.
it all day.
Hey,
You
guess what he can do? He can guard it for Bad Batch.
Yeah, you can still bring Chewie and one of those things. Yeah.
I would like him to see teamwork with Luke and Leia. I think that'd be nice. So, but moving on, we got Bad Batch for Rebels. I want to put this in S tier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
S.
yeah.
Just put
That's
S.
S.
S
uh,
done.
yep. So much health, so many keywords,
Yep.
little degradation as you shoot at them. It's
And it's the
wonderful.
only unit like that we have that we've never had a unit like that.
Yeah,
We've never had a unit that doesn't die.
yeah. Agree. And if you're killing this unit, that means you didn't kill anything else, and you probably got killed. So,
Yeah.
moving on, OP Luke. I'm gonna let you guys talk because I'm indifferent. I kind of don't know where I want to put OP Luke.
Is that
Definitely,
OP Luke? That has a red
yep.
lightsaber, it looks like.
No, that's the bullets.
Yeah.
Fire.
Okay.
So Nick, take the cake on this one.
Yeah, I don't think he's S, but he's definitely A.
Yeah,
He's right there with Vader. I think you put him there with Vader. He's good. His command cards are still good. He's got a good trick there. Um,
They nerfed to one of them.
they did, although they did kind of make it better a little bit that you can hand out more suppression.
Mm.
You so
yeah. You know what? I agree, and I've seen people use that trick a lot, and especially since
mhm.
the game is spread out a lot more, it's easier to panic things. So yeah, I think. What do we think is higher than Vader or lower than Vader?
So do you put him higher than Vader just because Rebels are better than Empire right now?
I think
Or do you
um
put him lower because Vader's technically
Vader
better?
can
if you're
Vader's carrying an army on his back.
if you're asking me, I think Luke has the better keywords than Vader.
Yeah, because he got disengaged.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I would put
So
him above Vader.
okay. And he has Surge Crit, which Vader does not have.
Yeah.
Moving on. Sorry, Jose. You
No, no,
agree with
no.
this?
Go for it. No, no.
Okay.
Hey,
I don't want to take
I
any voice
love.
away.
No, no. I love OP Luke. I once again, I played OP Luke since he dropped. Like,
So
I not a
I
complaint.
I think we could wrap this up pretty much because I think R2 F tier
F.
for
He needs to come down in
Padme.
points.
Do you guys anyone
A
disagree with F
S
tier?
S S.
Yeah,
Way better than Chewbacca.
oh my god, you're so biased.
F
Nick, you
F
need to bring Chewie and just play Jose.
F.
So
He doesn't bring nothing worth blocking.
wait, okay, you can do Padme there, but we can do Bad Batch real quick, but then I have something to say about Padme. But
Okay,
keep going.
all right, go ahead. What do you got to say about Padme?
Oh, are we
Wait, what is?
putting Bad Batch in S? Really? Wait, oh hold on.
Wait. That's
Gar
two bad batches. Oh
There's
yeah,
yeah,
guard.
Gar
Bad Batch in S? Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think you seen they still serve the same purpose, right? It's sure it's more expensive, but honestly, my hot take, you ready to hear it? Gar's too cheap already as it is. Literally,
Get the
you could take
fuck out
three
of
ARC
here.
troopers, you could take
Language.
commandos, and you could take Bad Batch, and you could take Anakin. there's been lists where you could take Anakin, Rex,
Mm,
and Bad Batch, and
yeah.
arguably I think Gar's better Bad Batch than Rebel Bad Batch
Oh yeah,
because
no, Garbage Batch is good for
well,
sure.
if you combine it with Rex, so now they get Scout 2, move. You
Yeah,
combine that
that's
with
true.
you do what we
That's
do.
true.
Oh man.
That's true. No, I get you. I get you. Okay, I get you. Okay. All right. I do have to go to bed, but I think it's interesting how quickly you dropped Padme in F
Okay.
because she's not that much different than Jin. She really isn't.
Her utility in the army is gone.
I that's fine,
That's the only
but
reason she would have
but
placed
she's
higher.
not that much different than Jin. I'm just saying, you dropped her
No.
really fast in
So Jin
F.
needs to come down then?
I'm no,
Padme's F.
I'm not saying it to change anything, but I think it's fun, interesting how
Well,
quickly you dropped it
here's
there.
here's why. I think Jin is better than Padme by a good amount because of that independent move where
And let me also let you to know too, before you continue,
okay,
Padme is also 15 points cheaper.
sure. I agree, but in a faction that's wants only clones to share tokens,
Sure.
you're never gonna see her.
I get you. I get you. But they have a lot of similar keywords, similar dice, even somewhat kind of similar command cards, even a little bit.
The problem
Um,
the problem is she just doesn't synergize well with her faction.
Because she
sure,
lost Exemplar.
sure.
She's just
And
like,
Jin lost Danger Sense.
but here's the thing: when you see Jin in a rebel list, people are like, "Oh, makes sense." When I walk up to a table and a guy's putting out his clones and he puts out Padme, I'm like, "Oh, I'm eating good today." It's a wasted spot. It's whatever she costs, that could be spent better elsewhere.
The here here
See, that's it's kind of funny.
Good.
Does Jin make sense in a rebel list? We could talk about that in the next episode.
Yeah. We will have to come up with some like segue or talk about points like that because for Padme, like literally for 4 points more, you could take a naked arc. So that's just yeah.
Or you
She's
could
in the
take
wrong
the
she's in the wrong faction. Or she doesn't have keywords enough
Or
to
you could take a you could find the points to invest those 20 points. You can invest them into medics. You can invest them into extra goodies for recon. You can do some Z6s. You can buy two shotguns
so
and
the better question is, Nick, should we put Jin in F tier? That's the case.
do
No, but I
it, you
guess
coward.
I just think it's interesting.
I
But
mean, I think it's just
yeah,
because Gar's
It's also a different
got better
faction.
stuff to take. Yeah.
sure, sure.
I do want to point out that our S tiers, I think our S tier is only S tier because all the A tiers could be S, but they don't have a ranged weapon. And that's where Bad Batch is really good. It could steady and move and
Uh,
shoot.
Vader has Force
It's
Lightning
well, it's
or
Oh,
also
he
whatever.
does. Well, it's only two
Force
dice.
Blast.
Two
yeah,
dice.
it's also
But the
hard.
movement matters.
It's hard to put something in S though, because S is like S is supposed to really only have maybe one or two things in. There shouldn't be a lot of things in S.
You're right. You're right.
Amanda
I see
has
what you're saying.
guns.
No. It's a point. Nick makes a good point. Like you don't want to have a lot of things in S tier. You don't have a really balanced game where these honestly Bad Batch probably needs a fix in some manner. But that's not
No,
my
actually,
decision.
I don't think so.
Rebel Bad Batch.
That could be a topic
I'll
for another
allow it.
day. Another day.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, boys, I've held you guys here long enough. I think our tier list is pretty awesome. Any last words before I let you guys go?
AMG, fix your POI rules.
Ooh, what POI in particular?
We
Rule
can
in
talk
particular.
about it next time, but they need to fix it.
Ooh, spicy. I like this. I don't even know what Nick's talking about. Oh, actually, I think I do. But yeah, I don't play that way anyways. Jose, you got any last words?
Come to Vet Fest. Thank you to Ryan and the guys over at Sabcast for giving our event a shout out. That was awesome. Really appreciate it. Anybody heeds Ryan's call to come down here and seek vengeance. You know where to find me, Nick, JR, and all of us. So we'll take all comers.
Yep. So I just want to reiterate, July 12th is when Vet Fest is happening. So if you can make it, that would be awesome. You only got to pay for the conventional badge. It's free tournament. But we hope to see you guys there. Thank you everybody for watching. Who's still here? Thank you boys for joining me today, and we'll see you guys next time. Later.
See you.
Later.